New to hammock camping, last year I selected campgrounds that were pretty close to the Twin Cities where I live. I camped at Minnesota's Lake Maria State Park in the summer, and again in the fall. And this spring I camped at Minnesota's Afton State Park. I like all these parks, I'll be back, but I'm looking for other places to camp that are still relatively close, and ideally that don't have a fee, because I had to cancel a couple of camping reservations at the last minute due to bad weather, and I lost all my reservation money as a result. So I started doing online research for free camping near the Twin Cities, and eventually I found this blog, Average Girl's Adventures. This is a great blog. It's written by a woman who enjoys camping and has been camping at cool places all over the country, and she writes these nice descriptive entries about them. One post that really caught my eye was about Governor Knowles State Forest in Wisconsin. I didn't know about it, but it's not too far from where I live. It's like a 55-mile stretch of forest land on the Wisconsin side of the scenic St. Croix River Valley. What's nice is that they have 9 backpacking sites that are free. You just make a reservation within a week and you get issued a permit that entitles you to use the site. The blogger talked about staying at the Randall Creek site, and I had seen a video from another person about that site as well. The forest rangers there are really friendly and very helpful both on the phone and through email. One of them sent me a detailed description of each of the backpacking sites that helped me make a decision about which one I wanted. I chose the Lagoo Creek site because it was described as being set back pretty far from the main trail, which I like. She also sent me a PDF of the permit request form that you fill out and send to them, and then they can tell you if the site's available, and then you're good to go. You print out one for yourself to put in your car, which you leave at the trailhead so people know where you are. Getting to the state forest is fairly easy from the Twin Cities. You go up I-35 and then take Highway 70 into Wisconsin, but then you start running into some rustic roads. The Average Girl Adventure blog mentioned getting lost, and, well, I did too, but I eventually found the parking lot for the southern end of the trail. Here's the trailhead, and I was the only one there. The bulletin board at the trailhead has an orange sign that talks about them being understaffed, and so there might be some trail maintenance issues, but they have excellent maps, which I really appreciated, and they have the trail logbook where you can sign in. I saw a few dates for April and May, but not too many, especially not during the weekdays like I was camping, so it might be a quiet time while you're there. The trail is mostly flat and pretty easy going. It was lightly covered with grass at the beginning, a little vegetation, but there was a lot of rain in the days before I camped, and it seemed like things kind of sprang to life, and a good part of the trail was kind of overgrown with vegetation. Some of it pretty high, like almost up to my knees in this case. I was glad that I wore long pants made out of quick dry material. Sometimes the trail sign was the best indication that there actually was a trail there. The trail is well marked with signs, and they also have mileage signs. So here I made the first mile and slogged through some more plants to continue on. The trail goes downhill and follows the river, and I was afforded a really nice view of the St. Croix here. There are several creek crossings with little wooden bridges. I really liked this one in particular. I thought it was very scenic, and I stood on this bridge for several minutes. Once I passed the milepost number 2 sign, I became aware of a strange geological phenomenon. It seems that as you walk more, a mile starts becoming longer than a mile. I'm not sure how to explain it, some sort of mysterious expansion of the Earth's crust maybe, but I finally did come to milepost number 3, and it was time to take a short rest. And while I did, I looked around and I found cool things like this orange fungus to photograph. Well, after a little rest and about another half mile of hiking, I found my site. As the ranger said, it's set back from the trail quite a bit. I walked about, at least a couple hundred yards until I found it, and there it is. It has a picnic table and a fire ring and this really nice brook behind it, which is your water source. The water was cold and clear. It was a hot day. It felt great to splash it on my head. Isn't that a nice sound? I enjoyed that babbling brook sound the entire time I was there, and it lulled me to sleep at night. Here's my water filter. This is the first time I've used it. I've never taken water out of a creek or a lake before while camping. It worked out really well. I set up my hammock between two very conveniently located trees at my site. That was great. I didn't bother with the rain fly this time because the weather was clear, but I sure appreciated my bug net. The ticks and mosquitoes were out in force after some rain a couple of days before. It was bad. They got so thick in the late afternoon that I resorted to putting on one of those mosquito nets over my hat. Look out, it's Nethead. Sounds like a scary campfire story character. I don't really enjoy wearing the bug net over my head. It's not very comfortable, so instead I went into my hammock and inside the bug net, and I watched those mosquitoes flying and buzzing around outside, but they couldn't get me. Fortunately, a wind kicked up a little later and kind of thinned out the mosquitoes. It was a lot more comfortable, so I took some pictures of the campsite. Is that a ghost? No, that's my food bag hanging from a tree. And I walked around and scavenged some dead wood for a campfire later. I was surprised by the number of birds that were chirping and making songs this late at night. It was about 10 o'clock in the evening. I heard that call. An owl flew out of the tree that's in the middle of this picture, and I was really glad he did. I got to listen to him make that call, and another owl made a response back and forth for quite a long time. It seems like every trip I have has a signature animal, and I'm glad that it was the barred owl and not this guy, the wood tick, which is pretty much the only other wildlife I saw. Later at night, I was hearing noises like this, and I didn't know what they were. I looked it up later, and it turns out it was a blue heron. Well, despite the unexplained noises in the middle of the night, I slept well, but in the morning I enjoyed my coffee. After breakfast, I did a little more hiking through the forest. And I decided that I really like Governor Knowles State Forest, despite the bugs. I think that I'll come back, but I'll probably do it in the fall, because I'm guessing all these trees will be absolutely beautiful in the autumn. I'll use the same site. I like the Lagoo site. And there won't be any bugs. It should be an excellent time. Governor Knowles State Forest in Wisconsin.